Hey everybody, Scoutcrafter here again. Today for Wednesday we have a really short video, and the reason is because I just spent 2 days doing Friday's video, and I just finished it now, and I think you're going to enjoy it. It was a real difficult restoration fix, but I was able to kind of pull it off, and I was really happy with the results. So that'll be Friday. But first of all, I have a quick tool to show you. One of the subscribers was asking about stock, where do I get stock and things like that, and I just want to answer that. And I have a question. The question I have is, what type of video length do you prefer? And if you could leave that in the comments, it would really help out. I'm coming up on 15,000 pretty soon, and I got a special video planned for that. But I would like to know, do you prefer a 5, 10, or 15-minute video? Just leave below. Just, we'll leave it to those 3 numbers, and I'll round it off from there. But, me personally, I like short videos, but I know some people like longer. So just whatever you think of. Say, I prefer 5, 10, or 15. Just leave that one number in the description. It would help me out a lot, and hopefully make it a better channel for you. So let's get started with stock. Now, a lot of times, let's start off with plastic. A lot of times you'll need a piece of plastic, and you say, where do you find the stock from? Well, you can go out and you can go to an industrial warehouse and you can order polyethylene, polyurethane. You could order all kinds of plastics by the sheet, whatever, but a lot of it is laying around the house that you don't know. Like, for example, here is like a polyethylene sheet that you can get from a water jug, or when you could cut these out here, and then if you needed to make a washer, you can, easily drill a hole and then stamp out a larger hole and make your own washers. Rings, if you need a bushing or something, obviously the PVC pipe is always used. You have to remember one thing, some plastics, with heat, like especially PVC, this will get soft with heat, but in a environment that you just need a space or something, you could cut down all kinds of PVC pipe to get that little ring that you might need. Another great source of plastic is cutting boards. You can go to the dollar store or anything, and you can get all different thicknesses of cutting boards if you needed to have a piece of plastic for a base or stand or something. Obviously, the square post, that, like we talked about before, is a fantastic source for PVC, and that for the fence post, you get those. You can make all kinds of things. Lids like this, a great source for washers and things like that. All you need is a 2-punch set. You punch one hole in the other, and you got nice plastic washers. When it comes to metal tubing, there is a ton of varieties of tubings you can find, or so many people that are throwing out swing sets and stuff, and there's a lot of these, tubing that's on there. You can just take a couple pieces of that and throw it up in the rafters. You never know. You can buy regular conduit. Always comes in handy. Again, if you need a spacer or something, you can cut off. It's relatively thin wall, easy to work with. Again, this is some found pipe, but I mean, I use this all the time. Another good source is arrow shafts. A lot of times an arrow will be bent or something like that, and they're thrown out or whatever the case may be. But these arrow shafts make aluminum. A lot of times you need a small piece of an aluminum for something or else, a tubing, and these come in real handy. A lot of times I need a piece of sheet metal or something, and for a project that I'm doing, and you can get sheet metal from these old tins that you see, cookie tins, things like that. Obviously tin cans, when they're opened up. The lids of these make, you have a full section of tin there, right there. And it's usually a good quality, not too thick, but easy to cut with scissors and not. If you need a small piece of like a spring steel, these are inside windshield wipers. When you throw out your windshield wipers, these are inside. So you take these. These also make great lock picks. You can make one easily out of these. A lot of times you might need a small metal rod or a pin, something to pin a job that you're doing. Nothing works better than a small nail. And I had a friend of mine come up to me. He says, oh, I need a cotter pin. I need a cotter pin. I say, are you kidding me? There's 1,000 things you could use in place of a cotter pin, like a nail. That's what we used to do years ago when we were kids. It doesn't have to be a cotter pin. Anyway, hangers, wire hangers, these things are great. I made a video on making S-hooks out of these, and I got a lot of views. People love it. this is all stock. You got to just think outside the box. You know that old junk saw that you have laying around? A lot of people laugh about it. You know, they say, what are you doing with that old saw? You know what? This is 20 inches of good old-fashioned spring steel. Now, out of this, you can make a putty knife very easy by cutting this out. You can make a putty knife. You can make a scraper. That's what they used to do years ago. The old time, you know, they would never, you know, throw this out. You would never see this in the garbage. They would take the handle off, and now you had all this steel that you could use for different projects. The reason I'm talking about this today is I was just saying about thinking outside the box was that years ago I was putting together something, and I had a set screw, and I don't know, it fell off. I lost it. It rolled under the, I couldn't find it, and I couldn't put this thing back together, and all because of a stupid set screw, you know. So my father comes down and he's like, what's the matter? I said, I lost a set screw. What am I going to do? And he's like, well, what size is it? And I said, I don't know. So my father goes into the thing of bolts over there, and he pulls out a little bolt, and he sees it's a 1/4 by 20 set screw. And then he goes over and he pinches it in a vise. He cuts a tip off, and then he puts a slot in it. Instant set screw. And I was like, it was at that moment that I realized that, you know, we get wrapped around buying things already made or whatever. So I just thought that was something that that might help. So let's check out this tool. Okay, next up, we're still in the 70s. In fact, 1979. A gentleman by the name of Gregory Naus. He comes up with this invention where he takes a regular vice grip and he welds on like a clamp design. And they call it the MeyerPlier. Now, I don't know if that's what it was originally called, but this is what it was marketed as. And Meyer Machine Company out of San Antonio, Texas is the one that makes it. Here's the patent number. And these were interesting because you could still get them today. They still make them, but remember, this is not that long ago. You know, 1981 is when he received the patent. And they started producing these. The idea behind this little gem of a tool is you could easily hook it up to the end of a bench here, clamp it down, and now you had a portable vise, more or less, that if you had to do some welding or anything like that, you could clamp in something, and it would give you a pretty solid clamp, you know, portable clamp. And again, you can make it as hard as you wanted or whatever, but it was a nice little design, I guess. But you don't see them around too much, and I was wondering if any of you seen one of these. Another interesting tool, the MeyerPliers. Okay, I'm on my way to the post office to drop off Friday's project, and if you're probably jonesing right now for a nice tool restoration, and I know we had a short video today, but if you can, one of our family, you remember Mike Man Cave, last year, he was told that he wouldn't be around this year, that you know, his cancer was untreatable, but like the Terminator, he beat it, and he's back. He did a great video. If you haven't checked it out or you're new to the channel, the link will be in the description. Go pay him a visit, welcome him back, and thanks very much for tuning in, and I'll see you on Friday.